Sorry,
You
sorry to drop that.
Oh man, I love
Juve,
it. I love
fuck
it.
Roma, fuck Milan, fuck Inter.
Wow.
Lazio,
Starting off
fuck
with a big
everybody.
Jerry, you know we're live, right? Oh my, how dare
Jerry,
you talk
that
that
is
way?
number one.
How dare you
That's
talk that
number
way
one.
about all these historic Italian clubs? Hello and welcome in to another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. We are connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. And as you can see, we have a jam-packed full panel tonight. And I kind of feel bad because, you know, now we're more than a week removed from the Euro 2020 final. You know, some of us maybe have not completely stopped celebrating the Azzurri's victory, but now that we're, 8 days removed from that triumph, we start to look now at the Serie A season coming up. We have friendlies that are already in progress with Serie A clubs. I think all of our teams have taken part in at least one of those so far. And I feel bad because honestly, I mean, the six of us here who, we all support different clubs. For the last month, we've all been friends. Now we're mortal enemies again, now that the Serie A season is about ready to start. So let me introduce everybody. I am Alex Donno. Of course, my co-host, Jerry Mancini, is always riding shotgun. And, man, right when we started the pre-show chat, Jerry was completely shot out of a cannon. He's saying, fuck this, fuck that. I think he was upset because I left him in the waiting room for too long because I didn't realize he was on the screen. So right when I popped Jerry in, he was in an awful mood. I mean, Jerry, didn't Lazio just sign like some 15-year-old wonder kid for child labor? Like you guys are signing children so this kid may be the next Messi. You should be in an incredible mood, man. You got the next Messi on your club. How you doing?
I want Gary Neville.
Yeah.
I want Gary Neville.
You can have Gary Neville. You can have Phil Neville. You can have their sister. Take all of them.
That fucking chooch. That guy's a fucking donkey. What a chooch, man. Luca Romero. I had no idea who this guy was before he came to Lazio. I only know more about him now because I wrote about him today and I did a lot of research. Or else if I didn't read this article, it's actually intriguing how his assistant coach Padin, I believe his name is, from Mallorca, basically called him similar to plays like a similar game to Lionel Messi.
And he's like 15 years younger, so that's incredible.
And I was 15 years old at the time when he said this, back in June 2020. And he called him David Luiz, which is really impressive to be 15 and be compared to a player like that for what he's been able to achieve. The only downfall to his game is that he doesn't have experience in the top flight. I think his mullet is the best hairdo in Serie A. I will be tweeting that out eventually when I get a perfect picture. He is the first mullet player, I think, in Serie A, or that I know of from right now. I'm pretty sure there's probably been mullet players. I'll say first mullet player in a while to come back into Serie A. I think that makes more sense. This is exciting. This is Iglitare at his best. When you give the guy no money to spend, he does his job right. When you give the guy $20 million to him, guess what he's bringing? A dumpster fire. Okay,
bringing
a fucking dumpster. I'm not saying names because the guy has already been.
We all know who you're thinking.
He's already been criticized too much after Saturday. I just don't. Here's the thing: I don't get Lazio's fan base calling out Husai and this fucking stupid song. Let it be. Football first. Leave politics at home. It's football. Enjoy the game. What they do, who cares? Like even with that Marici insulting him on the training ground, that's your own player. As much as I insult him or friendly insult, I don't even make it personal on Twitter, and you make it personal on the training ground. That's bad, man, because that you are not insulting just the player. You're telling Lazio to go fuck themselves. Basically, you are basically pissing on your team and saying screw the player and screw the team. And respect to Sarri to defend the player, which shouldn't have got to that. But like you were saying, I believe on the previous podcast you did on the Inter Daily Dose, is that it was a similar instance when Spalletti defended Ranocchia and basically called out the fans and said, this is enough. So I don't get it, man. Like, it's not your money. You're not buying the player. Let it be. Whatever happens, happens. I don't like the signing. Yes. Do I think that it's the end of the world? No, because who knows? This season, He can flourish under Sarri. One bad season. Like Ciro Immobile was so bad before he came to Lazio. 2 bad seasons with Sevilla and Dortmund. What happened? He came to Lazio and he flourished. Felipe Caicedo was bad in his first season. Everybody wanted this guy out. What happens? The next 2-3 seasons, he's tremendous. Everyone has a bad season and then everybody can bounce back. He didn't adapt to the Serie A. Who knows this year? He understands the league now, knows what to expect. He maybe needs time to adapt to the Serie A. It just drives me nuts how the fan base is so reactionary, man. And it's not. I know it's not just Lazio, but well, it happened. Be happy that the guy we spent $20 million and took a risk on a player, man. That's what I always look at. Freaking, I don't know the next time Tito's ever going to spend $20 million. Maybe when he buys a McDonald's or something.
Never, what I always say, never judge an entire fan base on ultras. Right, Lazio ultras are batshit crazy. Inter's ultras, the Curva Nord, like they're some awful human beings. Many of them, I'm sure there probably are a few good eggs in there, but a lot of bad eggs. You know, you really should never judge an entire fan base on ultras. You're only setting yourself up for disappointment. Let's introduce our all-star panel on this show. Let's get in the first timer first. Really happy to have this dude on with us finally. And I noticed, I hope we can buck this trend. And Jerry can vouch for this, I think. We tend to have really, really bad luck when we bring on Juventini. And it's not because Jerry talks a lot of shit. It's not because I'm an Interista. We tend to be really nice to everybody we bring on, and we hear everyone's perspective. But for some reason, a lot of the Juventini over the last, year and a half that we brought on this podcast, for whatever reason, will come on once or twice, and then they never want to come back. They unfollow Jerry and me on Twitter. I don't know what happens. So we're going to try to be really nice to this one because this is a really good dude. Cliff Esmiol joins us. Cliff, welcome so much to the Calcio Connection, sir. How are you?
I am great. First of all, thank you, Alex and Jerry, for having me on. It's a big pleasure and an honor to be on. This is one of my first podcasts I've been invited to, so it really is a pleasure to be invited. And hopefully we get along. We might not always get along, but that's okay. We're not supposed to get along. We're Inter, Juve, and Lazio fans.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Let's bring on again. Manny Chang is with us. Now, Manny, for those of you who know, and I've known Manny for many years, he's South Florida based as I am. He is
this huge bitch fucking cheers for Ronaldo. That's my introduction. This is Manny Chang, who salutes fucking Ronaldo, that freaking scumbag. There you go.
Well, he's a hardcore Real Madrid fan.
Back.
I've known Manny forever. He's so hardcore. He's got on his arm. Show the people your tattoo, Manny. You've got the Real Madrid logo, and you've got actually signatures because you had Florentino Perez and Sergio Ramos actually signed your arm, and you got it tattooed. So this
Florentino Perez. Oh my God, you got fucking. Oh God, you met filth. I told you guys,
Florentino is one of those people
there's no filter on this fucking show, okay, guys? Speak your mind. Tell me to go fuck myself. It's fine, okay?
Listen, I'm sure that'll happen, man. I have to be respectful here, dude.
No, man. You're honorary now. You signed the contract.
Sign a contract.
Let me finish. I'll finish. No, I'll just finish the intro for Manny. Because I think you have an announcement you want to make on this show. Because I've known Manny forever. He's a hardcore Real Madrid fan. That's not a Serie A club, of course. He's also the guy is a saint because he is actually a member of an Inter Miami supporters group, Vice City, which means he goes to every Inter Miami home game. He stands and he chants and jumps up and down the entire time, and the team sucks. So Manny is an absolute saint for supporting that team despite how terrible they are. And Manny, since you're not historically, you have a lot of respect for Italian football. You're not historically a Serie A fan. No. You have chosen a team. Is that correct? Do you want to make the announcement for everyone watching?
Well, first of all, I had no idea I was making the announcement on this great show. Damn it. So now here
Venezia? Spezia.
All the Ezias.
Parma. I would start Serie B.
Parma's not even Serie A anymore.
So funny thing is, Mass was here. It was almost Roma. And I thought about it, but then at the same time, I can't really go and dig for a club that could maybe make top four and play Real Madrid and then be in the Champions League. So in my eyes, it was probably to look at another club that was maybe always in the middle of the pack, tried, almost got there, but then failed. It was almost Roma, but then I said to Alex, let me look at who they're sponsored by. So I narrowed it down to Adidas and to Nike. And then I look at AC Milan, and I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't AC Milan Adidas? And now they're Puma. Puma doesn't fit me. So I said, I'm sorry, Puma. Move to the side. And so then now I thought about it, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go with the one player that my dad loved watching, before I was even born.
My father?
Maradona.
Oh, my father used to play in Italy too.
And Maradona obviously
play in Italy?
He did when I was young. He was a goalkeeper.
For what, like a youth team?
Yeah, like this young. And then he did it here too. My dad used to come home with bloody knees and stuff.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, fucking hardcore, man.
So apparently
like,
no
wow.
shin guards were made back then.
I don't know, man. My father was intense.
So long story short, I told Alex I'm going with Napoli. So
Napoli, and I'm happy for you. I don't hate Napoli, but I think it's funny though how you basically drag them through the mud. Because you said your criteria was like finding a team that probably won't make Champions League. So like you
should have cheered for Lazio then.
Dude, they're gonna be like dude, Napoli are gonna be in Champions
League. I hate Piojo Lopez, and he played for them. So fuck that guy. Dude. You're gonna say that guy.
Oh man. So he's already dragged his new club through the mud. Like he's made his prediction. Napoli will be a mid-tier club. They're not going to make Champions League.
So it's so funny, right? So they had their first preseason game yesterday. And I'm like, who the fuck is his other team? And Cliff just made a great analogy right before the show started. They're playing against the Farmers, and I look at the film, and it looks like they're playing in the middle of the country.
Oh my god,
it makes so much fucking sense. I'm like 14-0. And then today I wake up to news that Insigne can be going to Tottenham. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
That's not going to happen.
I know it's not.
I think the team's going to be taking a different turn. Well, we can talk about it after, but I see changes. De Laurentiis seems like a different person, man. I don't know.
A quick overview. Maybe Spalletti's the guy, maybe to get in there and to create that forwardness of, not playing to the that too, Jerry. Shut the fuck up. To the point, but you know what? When you have a club like that just missed Champions League by 1 point, right?
Yep, they choked.
It kills a lot of the vibe going to the next season because now you're in fucking Europa. Like, let's be honest here. There's no way, no club of that stature. Not saying that Roma and whatnot and Lazio should be in there, but there's no way that any club likes to be in Europa unless you're a club that's never made it to Europa before. You're like, oh shit, if we win it, we're in the Champions League. But I think a guy that's determined and that hasn't really won anything per se in his career, because I can't really remember what he coached Roma, right, Mas, for a little bit. They were okay.
Oh, yeah.
They were
that was the whole situation where they froze Totti out of the squad.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, listen,
fucking stupid, man. So stupid.
Not fun memories.
You know what? What's so funny
stupid.
though, guys? It reminds me when Florentino said, "Fuck you, Iker Casillas. You're not coming here anymore." And then you hear that recording last week. That shit broke my heart to death. He fucking cursed everybody out that I ever loved wearing a Real Madrid jersey, fucking ownership and coaches and shit. But no. We'll see what happens with Napoli and stuff, but. Should be interesting. I'm just hoping that Insigne doesn't leave because I do love his style of play, and I think he was one of the key he was one of the key pieces for Italy to actually win the Euros and to create that culture change after you guys didn't make the World Cup. So we'll see what happens.
I would have chosen Inter if I were you, Simone Inzaghi. I would have chosen that. If it was up to me, I would have left Lazio for Inter, but I can't because.
Wow. See, that's an admission right there. I've never actually heard you say that outright.
If it was up to me, I love Inzaghi. Love Inzaghi.
I know.
I can't believe how many Lazio fans hate him because he left. Okay, I understand how the download went. What did the deal? Whatever happened. We weren't there. At the end of the day, he made a personal decision. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I will always respect him because he won trophies. Man, the guy fucking won more than Gasperini did with Atalanta, okay? And he gets all this fucking praise. Like, honestly. But that's beyond the point. But I introduce Mass and Gianluca, and then I'll tell you my father's what my father said about Inzaghi actually.
Oh, I got to hear this. I think
I didn't get it on
a video
camera.
about this.
I got a video of my father what he thinks how Inter is gonna finish this year, and it's actually hilarious.
Dude, I didn't realize like
it's fucking hilarious, man.
Your dad is like OG Italian. Like it sounds like he just came over here like 10 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, when I release those videos online, people are gonna laugh, man. We were having it out yesterday. Me and these like old people, like 70-year-old, freaking. They were telling me how shit Inter is.
These 70-year-old people, they're shitting their pants. They're talking crap about my team. For them, let's bring in our other two panelists for this episode. Joining us for the second time, happy to have a fellow Baldy back on the cast with us. Mas Riccio is with us. Mas, good evening to you, sir. How are things up there in the Great White North?
They're all right. Thanks for having me back, guys. I really appreciate it. Going back to Spalletti, I really don't want to talk about that. That was not but not for anything. It's exactly that, like just the disrespect to the club legends, like especially that you were saying about the things that came out in regards to the way you spoke about Casillas and even Ronaldo. So it's like I don't get it.
Oh, man. Well, we're happy to have you back, sir. And also, we have our pal Gianluca Lombardi with us. And it's always nice to know, like, if anyone doubts that we are on live, you can actually see the sun set every time Gianluca is with us because he gets the nice view out there on the porch. I actually enjoy it because I don't even know, because I've got, like, shutters up in my house because my wife is a fucking vampire. Like, she works overnight since she sleeps during the day. So we have, like, shutters here, like, in our bedroom. And so I don't know if the sun is still up or if the sun is down, although I think the sun goes down way later in Canada than it does down here in Florida. So it's probably a terrible barometer. But Gianluca is with us. Gianluca, good evening to you, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hope all you guys are all good. I'm excited for this season to begin. We also had our preseason game on Saturday. We won 6-0. It was a decent match. It was versus I don't know what league they were in, but
another farmers team.
Yeah, another farmers team in Italy. But these Milan looked like they were playing pretty good. So I'm excited for this season. Can't wait.
Dude, I love it how every one of our sides except for mine are smashing farmers. We had to go to penalty kicks against these Swiss guys. From Lugano, 4th place in the Swiss. So there's only 10 teams in the Swiss league. They were barely in the top half. We got to go to penalty kicks. I mean, Cliff, the one team I didn't see, I'm guessing, have Juve played a friendly? What did they win? 14, 16, nothing? And I can't beat a Swiss side.
Personally, I haven't seen them do anything in preseason. Maybe I missed something. I'm too high on the Italy win still, so I haven't seen anything. But first, the farmers got beat. Then the construction workers got beat, and now the bankers in Switzerland got beat. There's levels to this shit. There's the farmers and the construction workers and the bankers.
Am I the only guy who does not give a fuck right now about football? And just like I'm so happy that the next 4 weeks I don't have to hear about Serie A, and like I don't care about preseason and all this garbage, man. I didn't even know Lazio played on Saturday to some.
Because you're a Lazio fan. What do you have to look forward to?
Holy fuck you and your fucking it's not my fault that I don't have freaking referees in my pocket.
Oh, we're getting the banter started early.
No, that was 20 years ago. Not anymore.
Yeah, did you see who got appointed? Who's the head referee now? Who's the guy in charge? One of the Juventus guys. Didn't he take over?
I don't know. All I know is we win.
I think Gianluca knows what I'm talking about. Some of them got like one step down. Another Juventus referee came in.
Luciano Moggi is now the head referee.
There you go.
How much did Pavel Nedved pay him first?
Yeah, exactly. The best was when that game when he came off the bench and he started snapping because he didn't get his way and he was freaking out and he walked down the tunnel. It's like, bro, what the fuck?
I will say though, Nedved is clown, man. He's like an overhyped cheerleader on the sideline who never got a haircut.
No, right. It's always the same curl.
Dude, grow up. You're not 25 anymore. Get a haircut.
I want to relay a message to Alex now since we introduced everyone.
Relay a message. I'm right here.
Hey, calm yourself. I got a lot of freaking energy tonight. I'm sorry, guys. I am like, because I went for an hour and a half walk today. It's the most activity I've done in the last year since the pandemic. Year and a half.
Wow.
Really bad. But so go to my neighbor's house. My father's outside because I went for my mom's birthday yesterday. So I go down the street. It's two of his friends. It's like we call it the Cabinet Crescent Corner, where like 6 people chill at night. It's like the retirement squad basically. So I get there and we're talking about Serie. So my father all of a sudden he's like, "What do you mean Conte's leaving?" So we get to the topic basically that he didn't know that Conte was gone.
Oh my God.
He's like, who replaced Conte?
Has your dad heard of the internet?
No, my dad doesn't care about Serie A. It's like I bring he just watches the games on TV. He doesn't care about transfer market, all that shit. He just watches the game. That's it. But I go, Simone Inzaghi took over. He goes, that piece of shit took over? he goes, you bring that in to replace Conte? He goes, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Don't give me that shit. That's not a manager.
Oh
that's a rookie. That guy there can't manage it. He can't manage Inter. He goes, this team's fucked this year.
Oh my God! Wow, you're actually and Jerry's dad is an Inter fan. For those who don't know, so it sounds like you're actually higher on Inter than your dad is because you respect Inzaghi. Your father has no respect.
They were all insulting me when I said Inzaghi's going to lead them to the promised land. They're like, Inter's not going anywhere this year. He goes, Inzaghi's going to choke. I go, what's wrong with you guys? I was dying, man. It was good, man, because it's good to hear like these reactionary 70-year-old old men from Italy having to say their opinion. But my father, I thought my father would be excited, man. He was mad when Conte left. He's like, well, I always explained to him that he's still getting paid by the team, though. He's like, what do you mean he's still getting paid by the team? He's like, what do you mean he's still getting paid? I go, yeah. That's how Inter does it. They can't pay for players, but they somehow have to pay a manager for free.
Well, they're not paying Spalletti anymore, at least. So they got him off the books, and now they have Conte paying him not to work. But they're only paying him, I think, about half of what his wages would have been if he hadn't stepped away. So, wow, man. But you know what? I can kind of understand where your dad is coming from, Jerry, because it's been, like 2 months since Conte left at this point. So I've had plenty of time to cope with it, like deal with it and like talk myself into thinking, oh, maybe things won't be that bad. Whereas your dad is just learning like today what I learned 2 months ago. So I can understand how that would kind of hit him as a shock, right? Because when I was following the news the day that Conte decided to step away, I was like, I went through the 5 stages of grief, right, over the next few days. Like your dad is just catching up on that all right now. So
he doesn't grieve. My father knows a lot about Formula One. Like that's what he knows. Formula One is like his religion. I've never seen a guy thick, like never miss a race. Sticking through, die hard with the Leafs. I can't believe he still watches the Leafs. They're so shit. But
yeah, it's been 5,898 days since our last the title.
1967, right? Was
like crowd as long as Roma and Milan.
I don't know, man. My father's funny, but he watches Inter. Like he watches Inter. This guy. My dad's in particular. It's because my father always says. Football is not the same like it was in the 90s. It's corrupted now. He always says money involved. Every time he watches Juventus, it's hilarious. I wish I would make a video of my father. The first thing he says, how much was the referee paid? That's all he says. My father always says, okay, this game fixed. Get out of here. Fix. Juventus, he got the referee.
Jerry, please. A video of your dad saying that to me. I just want to see it. I want to hear the thick ass Italian accent where he doesn't know how to pronounce half the words he's saying because it's my nonno. My nonno doesn't know how to say half the American or the English words he's trying to say. It's just hilarious.
No, my dad's off the boat, man. He's straight from Frosinone, man.
Oh, yeah, I love that, man.
He's hardcore. He's hardcore.
I love it. Send a video, please. I want to hear him say this. This warms my heart.
I have to do sneak attack videos on my father because he'll kill me if I keep on getting people asking me to give him for him to give me the finger.
Jerry, this is what you have to do. Watch a match with Juventus. Have your dad watch it, and when there's a penalty called in favor of Juventus,
yeah,
I want to hear what your dad says.
What I
tell you, these motherfuckers look at this shit 3 minutes in.
Yeah, that's why my father doesn't watch anymore like he used to. Like I remember my father used to watch the Inter derbies, like hardcore. He would be on the TV, and Gianluca probably remembers how TLN used to have like the So during the game, they'll have the highlights and everything, and like the out of town, and it was so different back then. Now,
Wait, even Jerry, even in the 90s, like the way, obviously I didn't grow up playing, but I've seen so many videos. They would destroy each other. You can't get away with diving like you can now. I hate the diving.
Unless you're Neymar.
Neymar, and then even like Chiesa and Juve. I don't like how Chiesa looks for calls. Like I like when players fight through contact, and if they fall down at the end, then they get the call. But I don't like when they fall down. Like Sterling, when he fell down in the box. Maguire goes down when Berardi puts his hand up. He's, oh my God, my head's broken. Guys, like such clowns.
I think I've said enough. I think it's time to hear you guys talk. I want to hear about
for the first thing I'll say before I want to go
and Napoli's garbage and Juventus. No one cares about Juventus.
Well, I want to go.
Jesus, Jerry, the season hasn't started yet. You're gonna have plenty of shit talking to come, right? Let it come first.
Hey, give me a break. Today's 17 years since Lotito took over our club.
Oh, really?
A historic day. Okay.
17 years. He spent 17 euros.
Hey, I have 6 trophies. No, I don't personally, but hey, Lotito's got more trophies since he's taken over than Roma has.
The trophies against the Farmers in preseason, is that what you're talking about?
We're working on the bonsai tree, Jerry, still. We're working on our carbon footprint.
Talking about pain, Jerry.
By the way, before I want to start going around with everybody giving expectations for their clubs in the upcoming season, but before we get to that, I have to bring in Mass on this because I thought our guy Johnny made a good point. He said, I came here for Mass Richo's opinions on Gary Neville. Nothing else matters. So I hope Johnny is still in there watching this because, Mass, you have made it your personal mission to go after. I'm going to borrow Jerry's word here. After that chooch Gary Neville, who was continually slandering the Italian national team all the way until Italy beat his beloved England in the final. So why don't you say your piece on that idiot Gary Neville?
Yeah, so I've been very quiet that entire Euro tournament. Like I see people celebrating, and I'm like, look, it's the group stages. We'll get through it. We won all 3 games. I'm like, okay, knockout rounds, and I'm just like loading the clip. I'm like waiting because I've heard Gary Neville talking smack, and like after every win, it's just like more ammo for me to get to him. I was a bit upset for Denmark, obviously, because like I was really rooting for them after the whole Eriksen incident. But when we were gonna go up against England in the final, I'm like, perfect. I really hope we win this one because I'm gonna just go off on Twitter. So we end up winning. I'm finally. I'm like finally celebrating. Like I'm out in Italy. Like I didn't want to just jump onto the party train too early after every other game. So the next day. Exactly the next day, I found out how many days exactly it's been since England's last won a trophy. Since Monday, I'm at day 20,077 days since England's last won a trophy, and I take one tidbit from the tournament or something about Serie versus the Prem, and I remind Gary Neville that he literally does not watch Serie and knows nothing.
Yep.
And it's just been really fun. It's been really crazy on Twitter. Like I've been getting a lot of traction on it, and it's really funny. But I'm just today I put up something about how we didn't have Zaniolo in the tournament because of injury, and I'm like, I don't even think they would have made it to penalty shots if we had Zaniolo starting for the Italian squad. So I don't know. It's a little. I took offense to it because like Rio Ferdinand kind of backtracked and said that Italy was the better team in the end. But like I haven't seen anything about Gary Neville backtracking and admitting that they were the better team. So until then, I'm just gonna keep tweeting at him and hopefully we can have a discussion because I've watched the Prem. I watched the Prem, so I can definitely go in there and hold my own against them.
I don't think you're ever gonna get the backtrack from Gary Neville. He basically he is the spirit animal of all the super cocky English fans who think that the football world revolves around them. And that, of course, the entire football world revolves around the Prem. And listen, I'm not going to tear apart the Prem. It's an excellent league, very competitive league, a lot of money, and it's very well marketed. Like one of the things, like living in the United States, and we're all in North America. I mean, Cliff, Manny, and I, we live in the USA. You guys live in Canada, so the coverage is probably similar. Like in the States,
Peacock.
Like in the States, NBC Sports and Peacock. They cover the Premier League and they do an excellent job. Like they put as much like NBC properties, like they put as much like energy and quality into their broadcast as NBC does, like with their NFL properties. Like they put a lot into it. I'm not saying it's as popular here as the NFL, but they put that sort of production value into it. They do a great job. Whereas, Serie and pretty much all of the other leagues in comparison to the Prem get kind of treated like second-class citizens. So the Premier League is an excellent league, and there's a reason why it's so respected all around the world, because the coverage around the world tends to be a lot better than, Serie A and Bundesliga, certainly, and La Liga as well. They get a lot more traction.
That's the problem. It comes down to the marketing, and obviously Serie A is run by like old Italian men who are like stuck in their archaic ways and thoughts. So we're not going to see much change on that front, and it's unfortunate because it's a fantastic league, So it's not going to get its due because of the fact that everyone it just did the Italian way to be stuck in that old mentality and like how no one really likes to progress forward with certain things. So that's the problem. I just think the Prem is a much better marketed league. The money's there, sure, but don't tell me that it's a good league when you have guys like Ben White going for like 50 million pounds. Like I've never heard of him before. Like if he's going for 50 million, then like Roma should be selling Davide Santon for at least 20 million. Like it makes no sense. Like you see these guys and these price tags and you're just like, who? Like I don't like. I get it, sure. It's a great league. Like I do follow it whenever Serie A is not on, but it's a lot of overhype. And yeah, okay, you do have those fans, like the England fans, like pre-tournament, like it's coming home, just like the bad batch, like everyone said, like everyone's got a bad batch of fans in their base. So, I mean, it is what it is, unfortunately. And hopefully the Italians really put themselves on the map there, because a lot of people were discounting them right out the gate. So,
if Bastoni was English, he'd go for over 100 million.
He'd go for more than Virgil van Dijk. They could probably sell him for like 150,
Dude, how much would Chiesa be worth if he was English? Like if his name was Freddie
Chiesa
Church,
would be
he'd
like
be worth 200
85
million.
plus.
Yeah,
250 easily
Alex,
after that tournament.
Alex, Liverpool, United, Tottenham, everybody will be at the door right now.
If he was English, they'd be like, "Oh, he's the next Wayne Rooney."
No, but Chelsea offered. Chelsea made an offer of of like something close to like 90 to 100 million, and he's like, "No, I don't want to go."
Yeah, for Chiesa.
Bayern offered as well.
Yeah.
Bayern as well.
Yeah, Juve said he's untouchable.
Just one quick thing that Mas was touching, which I think it kind of hurt the ratings with Serie A on finally on a platform like ESPN, which I think is going to improve the coverage. Just like La Liga's moving, people. They love the atmosphere and the fan base. And I think the one thing that a lot of people in this country that don't watch Serie A, they don't know the passion that the fans have, especially in rivalry games, in the stands. I think that right there as well is what a lot of people didn't see and don't really know about. So the sooner we could get fans bang in there when it's a Lazio and Roma or an AC Milan and Inter, like those are games that once people just sit down and they kind of get the feel, they'll know the passion for it. And I just feel like with, the fans not being able to be a part of that, I think maybe the coverage was a little bit dim. But now being on ESPN and whatnot, I think that, and once the fans come back, obviously, I think that should improve things. Now, when it comes to EPL, dude, let's be honest here. They have coverage from fucking 6 a.m. on a Saturday to the last game on NBC to whatever. And now they're going to charge an extra fee for a channel called Peacock for those, those like special matches and stuff. But after a while, that runs out, man. For me, I watched EPL when it was big, per se, maybe 3-4 years ago. And now I'm just like, whatever, dude, because I know that when I turn on my TV, it's not going to be an Englishman that's going to catch my eye. It's always a player from South America. It's always a player from another nationality that's wearing a Liverpool jersey, a City jersey, or whatnot that's going to draw me to watch them, not because it's, in England per se. And by the way, this whole phrase that's been there for years for people from England that, we run the game. Dude, you don't run the game, man. Let's be honest.
The game
is a global sport. Yeah, the game is a global sport. And just because you guys won this shit, how long was it, Mass? 2,000 or 20,000 days?
It's like 20,077 days.
Was that 1966? Was that their World Cup? Yeah, it's crazy. Dude, the Beatles were still touring in 1966. Yeah. Like it's insane.
But Manny's right. I think the strength of the Prem is literally from the foreign talent they bring in because they have the money. I really don't think it has to do with the English players.
Right.
Well, you
I
look
don't
at
think
the
so
English
at
team.
all.
They didn't win the Euros, and I do feel bad. I have a few friends who are English, so I feel for them because there are some good fans out there. But if you look at the talent, like you said, if you look at the depth of England's squad, they're very top heavy, very offensively. But if you look at the rest of the positions, very weak in the midfield. Defense, there's not a lot of defenders that you could see. Like you look at Argentina, you're looking at Brazil. They have stacks and stacks of players. They could field like 2 or 3 teams.
I mean, all you gotta do is look at France with Pogba and Conte, and like those two right there on any teams in Serie A, right there, it's going to improve your possession of the ball and the chances going forward. And when you look at the England squad, what you have Sterling, you have Kane. I mean, other than that, like you can't really come up with anybody else. I mean, that's why they lost the game, though. Personally, against Italy, because England didn't really have that guy that could possess the ball and to create those extra pocketed spaces. And once they were ready to do that in the 80th minute, the legs were gone. Like the Italians were just running.
But Manny, they have the Yorkshire Pirlo.
Oh, Calvin Phillips. Oof.
I've never heard of this Phillips guy, but he actually played pretty well.
No, I've seen him. He's not bad, but that's the thing. I don't think England has a bad team. I just don't think it's at the caliber the fans think
they're very
playing
average,
at.
man.
Yeah.
Very average.
They are
average at best. Yes.
So, guys, I want
the 3 Lions.
Of course, yeah. I want to start going around the table because I think we all support very interesting teams heading into the season, and throughout this next month or so before the Serie A season starts again, we want to be bringing on people who cover and support various different clubs. We try to cover as many bases as possible. Like I don't necessarily, know if we know someone who covers like Venezia, for example, but we're going to try to track somebody down to get like a real passionate preview on that. But we have Roma and Juventus and Milan and Lazio and Inter and Napoli represented. So I want to talk a little bit about the expectations for these clubs heading into the year. And Mass, I'll start with you, my friend, because I think Roma are going to be a super interesting team. Not a great domestic campaign for them last season, but boy, did they snatch so many headlines with the manager that they have appointed for this coming season. So quite frankly, are you expecting Roma to improve, and how much this year? Do you like what they've been doing already and what they're linked to in the transfer market? And what are your expectations heading into the coming campaign?
I was kind of caught off guard about the Mourinho signing because I really like the way the Friedkins have been moving. Everything's been really quiet with them, especially when I was looking for a new manager. So like it really caught me by surprise. I'm not upset. The thing is, it's not the Mourinho of the trouble era with Inter. So we'll see what happens. I mean, look, just the way he's kind of talking to the media, I mean, he's saying the right things. Obviously, like he knows how to do that dance. So hopefully maybe he's changed. Maybe he's going to adapt to Serie A again and do well. I mean, I'm not going to have big expectations. It's going to be a long project. I give it maybe 2-3 years before we really see them coming out. In terms of transfers, though, I mean, we got Rui Patricio, which is good. Sent Paul Lopez to, I think it was Marseille with Cengiz Under. So there's a lot of cleanup we got to do. I don't have high expectations this season. Maybe if we could compete for maybe a top 6 spot, top 4. I mean, top 4 is really swinging for the fences there. But I mean, I'm not going to go in with any expectations. We'll see what happens. They have some cleanup to do in terms of the roster, freeing up spots, getting some players that can fill in. I mean, our midfield's pretty much okay right now. We got Zaniolo back. Hopefully he's close enough to his old form because he's coming off 2 ACL injuries, like back to back. So it's going to be a bit iffy on that front. The rest of the team, I mean, need to address a striker. Dzeko, I've been saying it hasn't been the answer for a while now. So, I mean, hopefully we start with Borja Mayoral. Yeah. So, I mean, he looked good. I mean, I'm not going to put too much stock into it. They played a bunch of farmers like everyone's been saying. So, I mean, it's a good warm-up for the Europa Conference League. I have a feeling we'll be playing a couple more teams like that in that competition. So he had a hat-trick the first game. I think we put 10 past the first team we played and then 2 against the second. The team looks good. Mourinho, from the footage that I've been seeing, because there hasn't been much coverage for the friendlies yet. I think Wednesday is the first one. They're going to actually put up a live link that we can watch and see what's going on. But from the highlights and from like what you're seeing at training, like Mourinho seems to have the team gelled pretty well. Like everyone's kind of like on the same page. Like you see like kind of like the Italian team during the Euros. Like everyone's kind of tight knit, and there's a good vibe going on with the team right now for what you're seeing. So we'll see. I mean, we got some things to address though in terms of transfer, and we got to really offload the dead wood that's left from the James Pilota era of Roma.
Yeah, and I think with the Mourinho appointment, I mean, obviously it's a risk appointing him given the way he's burned out at some of his recent stops. But I think one area where he could really improve that squad is just making them more cynical and making them more defensive, because that to me is what Roma were really lacking this past season. The last couple of years was just, really strong defense, not conceding in important spots. And if there's any manager out there who can improve that mentality, Mourinho is certainly one of those guys who could help them fix those areas.
Oh, for sure. But also keep in mind last year they were kind of plagued with a lot of defensive injuries. Like our backline wasn't healthy at all. Like we had to start Brian Cristante as a center back. Like I never want to see that again, ever. Like trying to channel like the spirit of De Rossi there. I don't know. Like he's not bad. I kind of give Cristante a lot of flack, but he's not playing in his natural position. Like they kind of MacGyvered him into a center back throughout the season out of necessity. So
great term.
Yeah, it's it'll be interesting because like everyone seems to be coming back healthy. The one loss that really kind of bothers me, it's unfortunate, but from what I'm hearing, his replacement seems to be good, is Spinazzola. Like he was having a lights out tournament for Italy. Hopefully, we'll never know if he would have kept that form going into the season, obviously because of injury. But apparently, a lot of the Palmeiras fans are very upset. Not upset, they're sad to see Viña go. So that's a good sign right there because I really haven't seen any highlights of him. So I didn't really catch the Copa America, so I can't really pass judgment on him. But when a fan base is kind of sad to see a player leave, usually that means the next team getting him is getting a pretty good player.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, and it's funny, and that can work both ways because sometimes you'll have a player who leaves and the fan base is just talking crap. Oh, we wanted to get rid of this guy. He's terrible. And then he ends up doing really well at his next spot because sometimes a change of scenery is good. But yeah, you make a good point that overall, when a fan base is unhappy to lose a player, that's probably a good sign. I want to get into So I wanted to get into to Milan a little bit with Gianluca. Milan, I know that they're making headlines this week. And they're not done in the transfer market. They've already technically spent 60 million euros. I think that's a little bit, and I don't mean this as an insult, it's probably a compliment if nothing else. I think that figure's a little bit deceiving because it's not like they've just gone out and gotten like a whole bunch of new players for 60 million euros. A lot of these have been redemptions from loans, right? When you think about Tomori, it was like a 28 million euro redemption. They've redeemed Tonali. Brahim Diaz is back. So this is not all new players being brought in for the money. And I really like the Olivier Giroud signing for Milan. I think that's a really good addition. And anyone sleeping on him, I think, is probably doing so at their own peril. But what are your big takeaways, Gianluca, on what Milan have done so far? What do they still need to do? Now, of course, that's one of the few clubs near the top of Serie A that haven't changed the manager. So there's consistency there for better or for worse with Stefano Pioli. So how much, if at all, do you expect Milan to improve this coming season?
So with the, like you said, with the 60 mil spending, it was all redemptions from loans. I think that, Milan's on the right track. I hear some people say, they're out to get this player, but is he good enough? Is he going to give that extra leap to, get them to win the Scudetto or win Champions League? Just like this year and I guess the past years, although we didn't make the Champions League the past years, we finally made it now, was that we just got to keep making that top four for a couple more seasons. That way we can make that revenue and spend it on players that, well-named players that will make the difference. I think what they're trying to do now is just keep a steady, keep, like Mass said with Roma and with Team Italy, is keep the team close-knitted, see which players fit, which players don't, try to make them, kind of like a family as much as possible. That way that they can keep getting that top four. We lost Donnarumma, unfortunately, but that would have happened regardless if we gave him the money. Raiola wanted a 2-year deal, paid out 20 million to him, and then paid 10 mil for Donnarumma. He would have did it to other clubs as well. I was surprised that the PSG, they signed till, I believe, 2026. So I don't know why he allowed them to give him that length of time. But I think Milan is doing a great job. They will renew Kessie. I'm like 99.9% that renewal is coming. No, there's he won't.
A little banter there on that question in the chat, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't. So Hakan had to go. Fans weren't happy. I think management noticed that fans weren't happy to let him go on a free. It's still. I think maybe it could have been signed a 1-year deal and then sold him off. But he put numbers up there, but statistics isn't everything. Like we've seen, I've seen them comparing today Hakan to Rui Costa and Seedorf, and there's way more to than just statistics. I think we have another 5 players on our list that we're supposed to be purchasing, and then a few players leaving. Maybe they're talking about Romagnoli to Barca for Coutinho.
I saw that.
Yeah, and then Milinkovic from Fiorentina, the defender, for 15 mil coming to Milan. So it's a lot of talk, but how Maldini works is everybody talks, and then he just ends up buying players that people haven't even mentioned yet. So I'm interested to see. But I think they'll have a good season this year. Once again, top 4 team for sure.
I agree with all that. And it's funny, anytime you talk about transfer rumors, being a Milanista must be wild, because I noticed that they get, like, if people think that clubs like Juve and Inter get linked to a lot of players, like, dude, Milan gets linked to everybody. And obviously, like, it's not to say they never bring in good players, but they get linked to, like, every good player who might be available. And even if, like, 1% of them actually come, it's a good mercato.
Everybody, like Wanda Icardi's wife posted a picture of her kids with Milan jerseys that they won an award. All of a sudden, Icardi's coming to Milan. So it's just everybody. Yeah, like you said, every single player is. Matias Vines, who went to Roma, was linked to Milan for the past 2 years. It's just everybody. So.
Yeah, I noticed that, but very well said there. And I want to get Cliff's take on Juventus, and you certainly have a lot of confidence here from Dan in the chat, who's not only predicting a Juve Scudetto, but they're going to win it with over a month to spare. And I'll say this before I bring in Cliff. I don't know if you guys think I'm this is like a kiss of death, or if I'm trying for a mush. I'll never let you know what I'm really thinking, but I am actually also predicting Juve to win the Scudetto, and it comes down a lot to the Max Allegri factor. Like I think he is going to solidify that team tactically in a way that an inexperienced Pirlo just could not do. So I think Allegri makes a hell of a difference. I'm not going to go as far as to say that they clinch it with over a month to spare. I think it's going to be a tighter race than that, but I do think Juventus should be the favorites, if not just a slight favorite to win the Scudetto this year. But Cliff, what do you think? Give me your thoughts on Juve's activity in the transfer market so far. Obviously, the manager, I think, is a huge upgrade, as I've mentioned. How much better do you think they get this season?
Well, first of all, I'm sorry I dropped out for Jerry was DMing you merda. So, I was just dealing with that. No, I'm just kidding. Jerry's a good guy. About Juve, so for real, I think they do win the league. I don't think I love his optimism, but I don't think we win with a month to spare. I think this is probably the tightest that Serie A has been in quite some time, even more than last season. I do think having the familiarity of Allegri definitely gives Juve a little bit of an edge, just as I think Milan. I don't think it will take Milan's top 4 having the familiarity of Pioli, but I do think it helps to have a stabilizer and having a coach who knows the system, knows the players. Allegri was just there not too long ago, so he knows most of these players and how to work with them. He knows what makes them tick. And I think the main factor is, do they get Locatelli? Every sign is pointing to yes. If they get him for 40 million, I think, in my opinion, it's a bargain, considering that since he played in the Euros, I thought his market value was going to be somewhere around 70 or 80, where like a city would have to or would try to go after him. So I'm really happy that he's made it very clear he wants to go to Juventus or he doesn't want to go anywhere. That being said, if you put him in the midfield, I think you go from people saying this Juve team is mediocre with a Pirlo at the helm, saying, okay, they have an experienced coach in Allegri, like I said, who knows all the players, and you have a stabilizer in Locatelli in that midfield who is a star, or a star to come, and he will be a star thing in my opinion. And you put him with McKennie, who's a grinder, and you put him with Artur, who I think has a good work rate, and I think he's a passer of the ball. Not really convinced on him being a long-term solution in the midfield, though. I think this Juventus team could be really good, and then one more transfer that maybe happens later in the window, depending on if Ronaldo stays or not. Moise Kean, I'd love to see a return from PSG be eminent at some point, because I wish they never got rid of him. I thought he was a phenom when he was at Juve. I think it was a shame that he left, because you wouldn't have had to buy Ronaldo in the first place. You would have had a out-and-out striker you could rely on and develop and grow along with Dybala. They could play well with each other. But what the hell do I know? I'm only 23 and I don't even work in the soccer industry. So,
and I agree with Locatelli is probably on his way to Juve. I find it hilarious, these meltdowns that I see from Arsenal fans, that like they're in such shock that he wouldn't want to go to like a mid-tier English team. History aside, like whatever, these Arsenal fans think that their shit doesn't stink. But it's like, should you really be that surprised that a young Italian player doesn't want to leave Italy? Like I'd get driven crazy by how some of these Premier League fans, especially like the Arsenal and the Tottenham fans, who just have these delusions about like how important their clubs really are, even though they don't win anything, that just think, oh my God, every player wants to come here. And listen, like the will of the player is important. Like obviously, Juve have done plenty of haggling over the Locatelli price, but if that's the only place he wants to be, his will may end up winning it out. I saw the same thing happen 2 summers ago with Nicolo Barella. Like there were, Inter were haggling forever with Cagliari over a price, and then Cagliari got like pissed off and they tried to sell him to Roma, but the will of the player was he wanted Inter, and eventually they worked it out. So I think that's probably how it's going to go. But so good stuff there. I want to bring in Jerry. Jerry, I want your take on Lazio, because Lazio also incredibly compelling, my friend, coming into this season with Maurizio Sarri taking over. And it looks like our guy Lotito, whether it's revenge against Inzaghi or what, but Lotito looks like he's willing to actually spend some money this summer, Jerry. So how much do you think Lazio are going to improve this season, and where do you expect them to finish?
Yo, I want to ask you a question, actually. Never mind Lazio. Fuck Lazio. Garbage.
Wow.
Nicolo Barella, did he cost a total of $50 million?
About that, I think, yeah. It was a loan with obligation when they started it two summers ago.
I know I'm off topic here because I was just thinking about this.
I think it was probably like a 15 million loan with 35 million options, something like that. I may be a little off on the figure.
Transfer fee, 49 million. My God, we spent fucking 30 million for Vedat Marici and fucking Mohamed Fadez. We could have spent an extra 20 million for the first time in our life. We could have spent 50 million, got Barella. When you think of things like this, about Lazio, I don't know what to think, man. We got Hisai, who was getting attacked by the Lazio Ultra clan. We got Vedat Marici, who's being slaughtered by the fans. We might just freaking have our own fan base go against Lazio. How about that? That's what it seems like right now. You know what? It's early days. I know that Joaquin Correa will probably be gone from Lazio because he doesn't want to be with the team anymore. And I'm not against him for not being with the team. That's a personal decision. And it's kind of similar to Manuel Locatelli and how people are saying that he's not professional. He's got a poor attitude. I don't understand how a player's attitude and professionalism should be kind of how can you critique that when if I'm that good, I have the talent skills to be that good, and a team like Juventus wants me, and I have earned that right to go and join a top flight club, and I do not want to play with Arsenal. How does that make me a bad person? How does that make me negative? You know what it is? It's an Arsenal fan base who are fucking losers. That's what it is. A bunch of fucking losers because they can't get one of the best midfielders because he doesn't want to join. And then, like, come on, like, oh, we offer $3 million. Guess what? Juventus offered the same exact wages which Arsenal had offered. They offer more money in a deal. It doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, Juventus is a step up. That's what it is. He's not making a lateral move. If I'm right. Locatelli, I might as well just stay with Sassuolo and I'll play in a environment where I'm comfortable. That's as simple as that. Like for Lazio,
Jerry, I would argue Arsenal are lower.
Probably. Yeah.
It's probably they haven't done anything and fucking they fired their mascot for God's sake. They fired their mascot.
Did they qualify for Europa or I don't think not even, eh?
Not even. They didn't get into the Conference League.
They didn't even get into Conference League, so they're in no man's league.
Guys, there is something wrong in the water in North London. I don't know what it is yet. But they haven't
sense of entitlement is what it is.
I'm a Chelsea fan, and my favorite season was Sarri's season, 2018-19. That was my most enjoyable season because it was very attack-minding football. For Chelsea, it was such an exciting season overall, and it was a year where we didn't do anything in the transfer market. I'm not sure we did, but he arrived late. All he brought was Jorginho, and they bought Kepa. That's all I remember from that season, and it was an exciting year. But the EPL, I think people really they overhype it. It is so boring, the football. I thought last season was boring. As much as I'm happy that Chelsea won the Champions League and they did all that stuff, it wasn't entertaining football. It was very dull football. EPL is a dull league. It's not what it used to be, in my opinion.
But there's no tactics. They just run after the ball like a bunch of kids playing house league. It's like send it down and run.
But I will say this about Chelsea, though, Jerry, because I am Real Madrid fan first. I just love the way that Thomas Tuchel's game plan. It just
absolutely
from the first ever match at whatever field that is, because obviously that's not the Bernabeu. It's
Stamford Bridge,
Treno Training Center. But the way that his tactics just work, just suffocating the older midfielders of Kroos and Casemiro and whatnot, I thought was an excellent. And to use the youngster speed and quick passing and opening up lanes, I thought that was one of the most brilliant two legs I've watched in a long time. Where a team knew. We might not, be as popular as them. We might not have just won 3 consecutive Champions League, but we had the legs and the minds that we're going to exploit the shit out of them. And I thought between those two legs of soccer, I've never been more like, Jesus, we have no fucking answer. Like Karim Benzema could have hit the post 10 times in both legs. I don't even think we still would have won anything because of the way that you guys just suffocated the middle and created so many running lanes going the other way. But you're right, though. When it comes to most teams in the EPL, they're just very standardized.
Yeah.
Let's not push too much. Let's just, if we have a 1-0 lead, it feels like it's the England mentality, though, right? We're up 1-0. Let's sit back.
It's boring.
Like, you guys
you're right.
Go for the damn thing.
Didn't they say that was the Italian mentality? You get a goal and then just park the bus?
Yeah. Used to be.
Used to be. Now look at us.
Mancini took over the national team.
Yeah,
I know.
Who's going to do really well in the EPL?
Nobody.
Yeah,
well,
I think
United hasn't had a true center back in years.
Wait, someone don't trigger Manny. I saw a tweet. Some English fan was like, "Varane's not the answer." I'm like, he's a 3-time CL winner. Wow. He's won La Liga. Like, what do you mean he's not the answer for your backline?
He's also very good.
He's young. He's not that old.
He's young, but it's very easy to see that Varane is such like this. But yeah, you see it the players that he had around him, especially, listen, Casemiro gets a lot of shit, man, but this motherfucker draws back and creates the 5-man line in the back and always fucking makes sure that something if there's a player that's overlapping here or what, he picks it up for that center. Okay, Varane and Militao never really played well. It was always Ramos and Varane. Ramos will always cover for Varane. Ramos didn't play for the rest of the season because of injury. And then just because Varane had an okay towards the end of the season with Militao, oh, Varane is a special player. No, man. He's just a guy that I think it worked well in the system. Is it going to work in the EPL?
You're right about Casemiro, though. He does a lot of
Yeah,
good
he
stuff
does
off
not
the
get
ball.
enough
He's
love,
got very
man.
good football IQ.
Casemiro covered for so many people back there.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
Sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I thought Cliff was about to say something.
Lazio sucks.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say that I think Milan's gonna be really good in the league because the Prem is also based on having really good athletes. Guys can do a lot of running, going up the field, dropping back. Varane is a very good athlete. He's very good, very big and strong, but he's also really quick. So that's also one of his best attributes. I don't think he's the best defender, but he's a really good athlete, which allows him to get in the positions to be a better defender than most.
Before I say a few words,
Hold on, you told Danny Mills to kiss my ass. Anyways, who the fuck is Danny Mills? Anyways, I don't fucking know.
I'm guessing an English pundit. I'm not sure
yeah.
either. Although if you put your finger through a London phone book, you probably land on 1,000 Danny Mills. So
I actually want to piggyback on this. Immobile can perform under Sarri. You know what? The verdict's out. I think this is the perfect opportunity to see if he can flourish in a 4-3-3. If there's ever a guy who can help him, it's Sarri. He's done
and if it works, that makes it better for the national team.
It does. Absolutely.
Immobile isn't shit. Immobile isn't shit. I'm just kidding.
He's not shit. He's like.
I agree. He wasn't that effective in the elimination games for Italy, but he also wasn't used to his strengths. Let's be realistic. But at the same time, it's not easy when you got 11 guys parked in the back and you don't give any space. And how can he receive a pass? We all know his holdup is garbage. So let's criticize a guy where we know he's not good at something. But let's continue anyways and be smart asses. The back line, they brought in Husai. Curious to see how he does. I think the biggest thing is that whose background is that?
What background?
Cliff, I think that's your background.
But
hold on.
I don't see it.
No, it's the noise. The noise.
Oh, I couldn't even hear it.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, man. I figured.
Jerry was distracted by that?
Yeah, I was like, "Fuck!" That shit throws me off. Now you guys telling me to fuck off. No, but like, it's early days. I think Felipe Anderson's gonna have a fantastic year in the Serie A. I think he's gonna be my comeback player of the year, not because he's with Lazio, because this guy flourished with Lazio. Like he is gonna score at least 10 goals. I assume. Playing in a 4-3-3 where that suits him very well, playing on the right side. And I think the biggest thing is that while everyone's spending money, Lazio is retaining Savic right now, which is unbelievable. Luis Alberto, and I don't think Luis Alberto is going anywhere, personally. He's not going anywhere. We didn't make Champions League again. Somehow we're able to retain these kind of players and still be competitive for a top 6 spot, which is remarkable considering what their budget is. So, and in addition, they're adding players. I think the biggest thing is if they sell Correa, and Sarabia comes, I prefer just Correa being sold for 35 million. Take the money and buy the players that you really want, who want to be here and can help. You add to that team, you're looking at something, man.
Before I say a few words on Inter,
Jerry.
I got a question for.
Go ahead.
Cliff, I had a question for you actually about.
Gianluca.
What?
So, what did Gianluca say?
I don't think he said anything.
I didn't say anything.
No, I saw his volume come off, and then he went back on.
Oh,
This fucker keeps on having to say something, but he stops. Fucking pussy. You pussy. Pussy.
Can
I was just going to say.
Can I say something real quick about Immobile?
He's
Go ahead. I was gonna say go. I think Cliff was gonna say something nice about Immobile. Go ahead.
You like his hair?
Okay, is it okay if I say something nice about Immobile? Is that all right?
I
You
mean,
can
for
shit
Jerry,
talk him
yeah.
all you
For
want,
me,
man.
no.
I don't care. At the end of the day, he's a Golden Boot winner.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
and not every player in the Serie A has been a
yeah,
Golden Boot winner.
I mean,
So,
yeah, that's what I was gonna go off of. I mean, he's a proven scorer in the league. Obviously, he didn't do well in the Euros, and that sometimes even happens to some of the best players. Sometimes they don't show up. Sometimes they have some issues. Like you said, his hold-up play is not great, but I think he scores 15 to 20 goals this season. I think he still has a good season under Sadi, and I think he shows people that he's still a prominent goal scorer in the league.
if he has a good season, I hope everybody knows that he's going to be the number 9 again next season.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to have to hear Tom, Dick, and Harry chew me out saying, fuck, we're going to have to go with a false 9. And he's not good enough. And it's like, oh,
I'll defend him as long as he's in an Italy jersey. Up until then, he could go fuck himself, Jerry.
Well
I don't blame you, man. It's like Jekyll. You can kiss my right ass. Fucking old farts can be your lead striker again.
Oh,
Jesus
man,
Christ.
so-
And somehow he's going to pop in 15 goals. Don't worry.
Absolute nightmare. I can't believe we're still running with him.
He's 1,000 years old. The guy's a freaking dinosaur. But no, I'll say a few words about Inter, and then I want to get Manny's hopes.
Nobody
and
cares about
expectations
Inter,
about
for
Napoli.
God's sake, man. We don't understand. You had your fun. You had your Scudetto. You're on a
They signed
financial
the Turkish
crisis.
Ericsson, guys.
Okay, we've got we've got the Turkish prince, the Turkish delight. We're gonna keep the good times rolling.
I've dropped too many F-bombs tonight. I'm gonna get criticized on Twitter.
The magician you got.
You're lucky Brooklyn Rob isn't around. Yeah, I mean we got because he's the one who counts Jerry's F-bombs. But yeah, I mean listen, Gianluca knows the magic and the consistency that is Hakan Çalhanoğlu. This guy plays 38 flawless games per season. We all know that. It's going to be excellent. And listen, I've with the Hakan Çalhanoğlu thing, and I know that a lot of Interisti were not that excited for him to come aboard. A lot of Milanisti are bantering Inter for signing this guy. Listen, I make no mistake. I have no delusions about why it happened. This didn't happen in a vacuum. Like Hakan Çalhanoğlu was targeted and signed by Inter because of what happened to Christian Eriksen. It was a scramble, right? I mean, what happened to Eriksen happened. Don't know when or if he'll ever play for Inter again. You also know that Inter just don't have, 35, 40 million to spend on a transfer fee for a central midfielder. So they said, hey, here's an opportunity to get a guy who'd be willing to come here because we'll offer him a little bit more money in a pinch than his current club is offering him. He doesn't have to move. He's happy in the city of Milano, doesn't have to take his family anywhere, and he can do the job. Like, can he do the job as well as Christian Eriksen? Probably not. Because, I watched Hakan play plenty at Milan. You see some flashes of brilliance. You see a ton of head-scratching games, a ton of inconsistency. So it is what it is. I mean, this is a free transfer. The contract is not cheap at $5 million net per season, but I consider this an emergency signing for Inter. That's been the biggest incoming so far. It's not the end of the transfer market, surely not, because there are other players that need to come in at varying different levels of expense. But Hakan's been the biggest incoming so far. The biggest outgoing, of course, is Ashraf Akimi. I hate to see him go. The club needed funds to balance the books. Well, listen, so much potential with Akimi. Like there were plenty of times where he is a pace merchant. The guy is so freaking fast. Sometimes he has 3 IQ points when he's in the final third, and he passes when he should shoot, shoots when he should pass, but 22 years old. I mean, Hakimi is, once he figures out how to play a little bit more consistently in the final third, the guy is going to be a terror. Like, he is going to terrorize. And I think he's going to eat the Uber Eats French League alive. So I think he's going to be excellent at PSG. So it sucks to see him go. They needed to make a big sale to balance the books. It is what it is. So, the places that Inter have to look now, they need some kind of a replacement at right wing back. I think a player who looks almost surely going to come in is Nahita Hernandez from Cagliari, the Uruguayan midfielder / right wing back. Now, I would and I like Hernandez, plays with a ton of heart, grinta, very active box-to-box player, plays with a ton of passion. I've rated him for a while. I would much prefer him to come in more of a utility role where he can play center midfield. He can be like the second right wing back. I will not be as excited if they bring him back as the full-time starting right wing back, because I like him a little bit better as a central midfielder than I like him in the right wing back role. But, due to cost being an issue, he may end up being the first choice right wing back. You could do worse. You could do better. I would actually, if they can find a way to make it work funding wise, I would like the idea of bringing in Nandez on loan, and then also, if you can swing it, bringing in Hector Bellerin on loan from Arsenal. But there's a disagreement over the formula because Inter want to do a loan with option. Arsenal only want to let him go on a loan with obligation. So if you can't find a way to bridge that gap, the player will not come. So, the biggest departure, of course, has been Hakimi. I think the rest of the summer is going to have a lot to do with keeping the other core players that you have. Barella is going to need a contract extension. Lautaro is going to need a contract extension. I guess there's a slight possibility Lautaro could be sold, but I'm not expecting it. Brozovic is also seeking an extension. I wouldn't cry myself to sleep if they did sell Brozovic, but I also think he's more important than a lot of people give him credit for. I think too many people sleep on Brozovic because so much of what he does not appear on the box score. Of course, you lose Antonio Conte, and I like Simone Inzaghi, but obviously replacing Conte, who's world-class, is going to be difficult, but I think Inzaghi can do a good job. I've already said that I am expecting Cliff's Juventus to win the Scudetto. I think that Max Allegri is going to be the deciding factor there, but I think Inter can compete for it. I think Inter can compete for the Scudetto. I think it's going to be a second or third place finish as you see battling middle fingers there for those who are watching us live. So, I think it's going to be second or third place for Inter, another trip to the Champions League the following season. And I actually think I think Inter could maybe even do a little bit better in Champions League this year. They've been knocked out in the group stage for the past few seasons. They're going to be a top tier, a pot one team this year, and I think they were a little bit unfortunate to go out in the group stage last season. So I actually think Inter can at least get to the round of 16 in Champions League, second or third place finish in Serie A. So that's the way that I see it this year. A little bit of a step back domestically from last year.
You have a quick question for you. So what about DiMarco? DiMarco
yes.
Right back. Do you like?
I'm glad you brought it at left back. Yeah, I'm glad you brought him in. I think it's got to be the left side for him. Okay. But I like him a lot. He was there were some thoughts about him maybe getting loaned out or sold, but it looks like he's going to stay. Simone Inzaghi indicated he's going to stay. Beppe Marotta said he's the president and future of Inter. So I actually think that even though they're taking a step back at the right side, I think at left wing back they can actually take a little bit of a step forward because I think Perisic and DiMarco as your primary choices for the left side are a little bit better than Perisic and Ashley Young from last year because unfortunately Ashley Young just really couldn't run consistently anymore. The guy was like 55 years old. So I think that they could even get a little bit better on the left side while they're getting worse on the right side. So
what do you have on the right again? You got Darmian and what?
Well, Darmian, and then I think Nandez is going to come in, but we're yet to see if he's going to be kind of a center midfielder / backup right wing back, or if he's going to be the starter. I think there's a chance that Hector Bellerin could come in, but it's a little bit too soon to say right now. He's chosen Inter, but you still have to get, of course, Arsenal's consent to loan him out. So I'd say it's probably maybe 45% he comes because Arsenal only want to send him with loan with obligation. Inter want loan with option. It's a downgrade, man. It is what
Massive.
it is.
You know what, man? I'm very interested.
I don't know. Is Lazio going to make top 10?
I don't rate Bellerin at all, Alex.
I'm not going to judge Lazio yet. I'm not judging anybody because there's still 4 more weeks in the transfer market. Call me August 22nd, and actually the week before.
A few more weeks of playing the Farmers.
No, the former that too, but
got to play the Farmers a few more times this year.
I need to see what goes on in the transfer market. For all you know, Locatelli all of a sudden, just knock on wood for your sake. Tomorrow morning you wake up and Man City puts in an offer of $35 million out of the blue and says, "Hey, we want to sign Locatelli." You don't know, man. The transfer market, I get sucked in so bad. That's why I hate it so much. That right now it's Sassuolo and Juventus. And no one thinks Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal somehow come up with a crazy idea. Let's give him $6 million a year because we're EPL and we got all the money in the bank.
No way.
I'm just saying. Transfer
No
market.
shot. You think he wants to drink that dirty water in North London?
You know what, man? If you were giving that guy $7 million a year, I'm sure he'll drink the dirty water and go play for Arsenal because money talks, money walks. As much as I said before about everything I said, money walks. Buddy, wait.
Everything I said, take it all back.
Remember, money talks, man. And there's very few players who are loyal to their club. That's why I always respect Sergej Milinkovic-Savic because that guy could have walked out of Lazio 5 straight seasons, okay, for how good he is. You know what? Should have, but guess what? His heart is with the team. He doesn't care about what surrounds the politics and all that shit. He plays for the logo, the crest. And that is not very common anymore. The guy makes like $3.5 million a year. You know, that's compared to other players like how he is. Like, it's very rare that they accept. Look, think about this. Think about being Savage, and he has to hear Luis Alberto every year bicker about something stupid, about more money, about this, about that. Meanwhile, planes. Meanwhile, in the back, he knows that he's 10 times better than Alberto. Savage is over here, and Alberto is over here compared to him. Everybody thinks that Alberto's better than Savage. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Milinkovic-Savic
He's a top 5
Ferrari.
midfielder.
Luis Alberto is a Fiat.
Ah, well said.
Yeah, like I laugh.
Milinkovic-Savic is one of the best technically gifted midfielders you'll ever see in the world.
Lazio will never sell him. I think he is gonna die as a Laziale, like Sena Lulic did. And I've had people.
Sena Lulic is dead.
No, not dead, but you get the you get what the fuck I'm trying to say, man. But hold on, like seriously, I've had people actually tweet out. I don't know if they actually live in Rome. I've had one guy literally tell me he lives down the street from him on Twitter. I don't know what to believe that or not, but I'll take it with a grain of salt because he told me that Savage is in love with Rome. He loves the city. I've heard on Calcio Land with David Amenol all the time talk about it. And it's possible because he has never complained about being with Lazio. He's never asked to be sold. And I think that as much as the club itself is important to them, I think their lifestyle is just important. They have to go home to where they play. And if he's happy with Rome and he loves the city and goes home every day happy, I don't see why he would want to be sold. And if he were ever to be sold, there's only one club he will go to, and it's Real Madrid. He's already said that's his like dream team that he wants to play for, where it's like the step up. He's already said that because I guess it's similar lifestyle to Rome, the weather, everything. So for me, and I would consider selling Alberto. I really would, but you have to consider the fact that you have to have the proper replacement to come in. You don't just say, hey, Alberto, you're going for 45 million. Have a nice day. You don't think that another thing. Okay, so yeah, say Milan knocks on the door tomorrow morning and says, yeah, we want to buy Alberto. Absolutely, you can have him. But you don't think Lazio is thinking about who the replacement is first before they actually pull the trigger? There's two sides to this. First off, you got to sell your player, yes. But who's coming in to replace him? You're not going to leave like this ain't Simone Inzaghi anymore, where he managed to like turn scrubs into gold. This is a manager who is, I would say, not more ambitious, but has to be given the quality players in order to please them. And Lazio's never had a manager like that. So they now have to think, okay, we need to keep Sarri in track. We need to give him the players that he needs. And it becomes more ambitious in a way. So Tari will get you a Mariki-style replacement. You know what? I have an article coming out about Baltari. He is not as bad as people think he is. I think that the last 2 years has not been great for him. But prior to that, Milan wanted to sign this guy, wanted him bad because of what he managed to do.
There.
I don't think they dodged a bullet. I think that you can't. You go to Milan, it's a different project, a different mentality. So Tade has a different approach when he goes to Milan, and he's got maybe more money to spend compared to Lazio, where his decision making maybe changes. He doesn't maybe buy a Vedat Marici. Maybe he buys something better because he has more available to him. Who knows? But overall, he's made the team better in the last 5 years. You can't say he hasn't. Luca Romero, there's an example. Free transfer, $400,000 a year. Those are the Tare signings where
You old enough to drive yet?
I don't fucking know, to be honest, but
16 years old.
Look, Husai. He got Husai on a free transfer. But these are Tade signings where when his back is against the wall, this is when he's at his best. Felipe Anderson. There's another great deal by Tade.
Yeah, I like that move.
Think about this. We sold this guy for $41 million and we brought him back for $3 million. Are you kidding me? What team sells their own player and buys him back for absolutely dirt cheap and pocket like?
Only Lazio would do that.
Apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently Lazio doesn't do buybacks. You don't sell a player and buy them back. I don't understand the stupid rule, but I'm happy we brought back.
Didn't they do
Anderson.
that with somebody last year too?
Yeah, Wesley Hoot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We sold that guy for $18 million, brought him back on loan. We could have picked up an option for $5 million for him or less, but I thought he would have been a good backup in a back four. Under sorry maybe, but a lot of people don't like him anymore. That's not the case, but that's aside the point. And to answer, I think it's Johnny. The money is going to be, or Dan, the money is going to come from selling Correa. And when they sell Correa, they're going to be able to sign Toma Basic from Bordeaux. And it's not always about spending 25, 30, 40 million that makes your team better. That's not always the case, man. Call Barcelona, because how's Griezmann doing in Barcelona? Like, how's the other guy, Coutinho? Guy can't even.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of him. He might end up in Milan.
So I can keep going, man. You want to go across the pond? We can go to Juventus. How's Ramsey doing for $7.5 million a year? I saw somebody wrote that's crazy wages. Like, yeah, you can stick that up your butt, buddy, because you know I'm right.
We're in higher place, buddy. How's seventh place doing?
Oh,
Seventh place. I don't give a shit,
How's
man.
seventh place down there, buddy?
yeah, Jerry.
Fuck, we don't even have a
He's like, I don't give a
sponsor.
fuck. I've been dealing with this for 10 years. I don't care.
I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan. I saw playoffs once in the last 13 years. I know what it's like.
Can you explain to me why Lazio don't have a shirt sponsor? Like every fucking club has a shirt sponsor. I mean,
Who wants to sponsor
That's
Lazio?
because
It looks
Lazio,
the jersey looks clean, but I mean
it
financially
does,
it makes
but,
no
like, you want
sense.
the revenue though. Like, dude, like,
Yeah,
listen,
it makes no
like,
sense.
I want Joe to come. We need to have Joe come on because Joe said it perfectly about even though you do have the sponsor, it doesn't actually mean that you're getting full profit because don't quote me. Joe was explained to me from Forza Napoli podcast, and it's a good point because like you gotta remember if Adidas is your sponsor, okay, Adidas gets a large sum, and then there's only like 10% that goes to Lazio from the sponsor.
and they're getting
itself.
0% with no sponsor.
You're right. It does help. Any dollars help, absolutely. But it's not like
You know what would look
it
good?
pushes them.
Twitch on the jersey.
There you go.
What is up with everybody with Twitch, man?
You know what's really funny, Cliff? Let me tell you a funny story, and I know Cliff is on Twitch, but so I literally, as I said at the beginning of the episode, I literally just created a Calcio Connection Twitch channel today. I created it today, and then I sent Jerry like a private message on WhatsApp saying, "Oh, by the way, I created a Twitch, so we're on that as well." And Jerry responds to me like, "What the fuck is that? I don't want to be on Twitch." Like he's like,
Is that kind of sex toy? What's a Twitch?
What is Twitch though? I hear Twitch. Everybody Twitch. I don't know. I went on Twitch today. I saw Sansone. I saw he's making a top 11 fucking mothers of football players or wives of best wives. Top 11 wives of football players. Like,
Oh,
God,
there
that
you
sounds
go.
better
I was
than
in
this
that.
show. Jesus,
I was-
we should be doing that.
Guys, Jerry,
we're doing the top or the 11, the starting 11 of who has the hottest wives in world football. It was phenomenal.
no, I have no time for
Wow.
that, man.
That's
I
the
want.
content we need here. God,
No,
Jesus, they're killing us over
Jerry's reaction to Twitch is the same thing like when we react to watching Lotito still using like a flip phone. You know what I mean? It was just
Yeah.
like lost in
But
time.
What's the purpose of Twitch? What is
You
the
stream.
goal of
It's
Twitch?
just a streaming platform. It's a streaming platform.
It's a lot of video
way of
games,
making
yes?
revenue.
Yeah.
Well, you do it because you like it, but there's a revenue. You can run ads on your channel. You can have people subscribe if they like your content. You can make emotes. Like, it's just another way to basically do this, like getting your content out there, getting your voice out there. I mean, I'm not a big time Twitch streamer. I'm very small time, but from my gist of it, like, you just stream. I do FIFA. You can come on my show if you have an Xbox, guys. I'm very happy to have guests.
I only have a
but,
PlayStation. God damn it!
Xbox.
God damn it, Alex! I gotta get a PS5 now. I gotta spend $500 so I can play.
I don't even have the PS5. I still have the PlayStation 4. You think there's no way
Yeah.
I'm paying? Like, I see these people on
No,
eBay.
I'm not paying.
I see these people on eBay because there's no PS5s out there, like new ones, and I see these people selling their PS5s on eBay for like $1,500. I'm like, dude. I have a freaking child to feed. Like, I've got a family. You think I'm gonna go and pay like 3 times retail price for your fucking used PS5? Like, give me a break, man.
It's like, dude, I'm struggling to feed my dog. I'm gonna buy a PS5.
I would never. See, so people live stream when they're playing. I shouldn't ask that. I actually see people live streaming when they're playing FIFA games, and people actually watch it.
It's better than Premier League.
I couldn't spend.
You don't like it then, Jerry. You wouldn't watch my channel.
I would rather play you than watch you. I'll be honest. But if I had to play you, I would actually watch you and see how.
I'll be Juve, you be Lazio. I'll kick your ass.
You probably would, because every time I play this stupid game, people I don't know, man. Are you one of those guys who like change your formations on the fly and everything, and change your styles and everything?
You have
No, I don't do none of that shit. No, I don't do that. I can keep my formation. I just set up my tactics beforehand, but I don't do anything crazy in game.
Wow, you set up your tactics before.
Oh,
the
man.
thing that drives me crazy about FIFA, and like, I don't even play actual human beings because I don't want to get wrecked and get embarrassed, because I tried that for 2 months. I was playing the game Overwatch against actual people. God. And dude, when I had these like 14-year-olds who were killing me and then talking crap over their headphone, like, I'm like, dude, I'm a 30-year-old. I'm 36 now, but I was like 30 years old at the time. I'm like, dude, I'm 30 years old and I'm getting destroyed and talked trash to by like a 15-year-old on a headset. Like, I can't live my life like this. So I don't play against actual people on FIFA. I play the computer. And what drives me crazy is you have it on one difficulty mode, and then you win your game like 11-0, and it's way too easy. And they're like, and they automatically, would you like to upgrade to the next difficulty? Fuck yeah, I would. And then you upgrade, and then you get beaten like 7-0. It's like, well, why is there nothing in between? Like,
what
why
rating do you play against?
Nothing, and then I lose 7-0.
Alex, we want to hear, what rating do you play on?
I don't even know. Like, I think like the
same.
Either like the third easiest one, I think, like the one that's like not the very easiest one is like a joke. I think I play on like the third.
Like what,
tier.
semi-pro?
I play after professional. I think that's what I play.
Probably semi-pro. I think
I went from like professional to like next level, and I just exactly the same problem with me. I was winning 10-0, and then I would lose 7-0. I was like, "Fuck this game!" I said, "I'm done."
I got fed up of playing online. All I did was running against Madrid, PSG, and Barcelona. Like, and I'm there with Roma. It's fun when you squeak away with like a 1-0, 2-0 win. It's like, oh, you're typical Italian. You park the bus. I'm like,
right.
I don't have a choice with the team I'm playing right now.
Yeah, if I try to park the bus is getting wrecked. But no, I don't, dude. You play world class. Like, I don't think I've ever tried world class. No, I probably couldn't have like 5% possession on world class. Like, I couldn't hold the ball on that.
Yeah, I usually win. And this is not even a flex. I win world class usually like by 3 or 4 goals.
Oh.
Hey, question: does anybody watch Formula One here?
Yeah,
my dad does. I sometimes watch with him.
Hold on. I asked if you watch it. I didn't ask if your dad watched it.
I'm telling you, sometimes I catch it. If I'm over at my dad's house on a Sunday, it's on. I'll watch a little bit of it.
What is this, man, Alex? You know what? I'm going nuts tonight.
Are you still upset about the whole Hamilton Verstappen?
It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit, man. So bullshit.
So
I saw people complaining about
bullshit.
So quick thing. When Hamilton won, And Jerry wrote a tweet, this fucking guy should not have won. And I replied, okay, so now you're a professional Formula One analyst.
No, but the big argument about Hamilton's move there is if you apparently understand the whole concept of the driving line and the apex going into the corner.
Correct.
Apparently he wasn't
going to make it. Yeah,
he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you saw that because Verstappen was because you normally going at those speeds, you're expecting the driver to react in a certain way.
Yeah.
And Hamilton completely was off that racing line altogether. And that's what kind of caused that bump with Verstappen. But that crash, at 51 Gs, I'm surprised he walked out of that car. Off topic.
I'm just surprised that in reality, he was able to even have the balls to come out of his car or his little racing thing after he
That's
won.
it. At 51 Gs of force, I never expected him to get out of that car the way he did. It was crazy.
Gianluca, do you guys watch Formula One? Did you guys watch the race yesterday? Gianluca, you're probably fucking watching the transfer market.
Yeah, no, I missed the race. I catch it every so often. I read up on it. I heard about the crash, but yeah, I heard it was pretty brutal.
Because also you basically enabled the guy that was leading the championship. You knocked him out of the race. Right?
Yeah.
And then you win the race. So that's Jesus Christ.
Hey, I want to. I gotta wrap it up in a few minutes because I'm old. I don't know how Jerry stays up till 2 a.m. when he wakes up at 4.
No, you cut off Cliff, man. You're such a bad guy. You know what? These Inter guys always cutting off these Juventus
Cliff
guys.
already said he doesn't watch Formula One. I already heard him say it. I didn't cut anybody off. I cut you off.
Prick.
Never mind.
See?
We should get an app going for the Milan fans, like a ticker, like the stock market. So Gianluca could just have it running at the bottom with all the transfer rumors.
Seriously,
you just see it fluctuating,
getting linked to every single player.
Yeah, every single player. You just see names just scrolling across the screen.
Neymar.
I think Alex is gonna get replaced after
Messi's
tonight.
dog
Man.
wants to go to Milan.
I think that thing's a lot lucky to be alive. Max Verstappen. If they didn't put those barriers on the top of the where the driver's seat is, they got the barrier where
The halo.
The halo. Thank you. If you see the tire go flying, imagine that lands on his head.
Oh.
He has the halo to protect him this time.
Jeez.
And I was asking my buddy Rob. He said the
greatest invention in the sport right now, that halo. It saved Leclerc's life one time while he was with Alfa Romeo. There was a really scary situation where if that halo wasn't there, he lost his head. It's
Go ahead.
No. It's it. The halo has saved lives. It's been really one of the better things that they've brought into Formula One, because there's been some close calls with some drivers, and thank God that halo's there now.
Halo saves lives.
I don't know shit about Formula One.
You don't know shit about football either.
You should stream. You should get into it and do it for your Twitch stream to play the F1 game. It's actually worth it.
I don't know, man. These guys drive really fast. That's all I know. They drive really fast and they go like this, and that's it.
Thank you. Actually, I'm gonna call Sansone. I'm gonna call him out, and I hope he's listening to this pod. I hope he's watching. I don't know where the fuck you are.
You gotta get him on the next episode. Wasn't he supposed to come on once and then he couldn't do it? And he owes us one.
The fact that he said that more like Formula One's not a sport, anybody can drive. Are you stupid? No, honestly, are you? That is the dumbest. Either bet. I want to see you guys drive 200 miles per hour, slowing down on a turd.
So can I say something, Jerry? Can I say something?
It is not an easy sport.
I think
you know what training there is?
If he thinks anybody can drive, he's clearly not met my mom. Dude, she drives 6 miles per hour.
It's not an easy sport, man.
Jerry, can I say something real quick?
You don't want to train it. It's mental, man. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say one. I don't think it's a sport, but I do think it takes a lot of skill. I think it's extremely difficult to do. I don't think it's just driving. You need to have a certain amount of ability to do it. I mean, I'm on the board of calling it a sport because you're not physically doing anything, but I mean, but just personally, I do think there's a lot of ability. I'm not saying there's no ability. There's absolutely, you need to have ability to be able to drive at those speeds. I just don't think it's a quote unquote. I mean, a sport's a very general term. So who the fuck am I to say what a sport is? I mean, that's just my opinion. But fuck me anyways. What the hell do I know?
Hold on.
Jerry,
You want to know how much
happens?
weight?
What happens if like a driver has to pee during a race? Do they just hold it, or do they
No,
go?
people have actually peed in their seats.
So do they have like a diaper on?
No way.
No. I think it was Vettel or Alonso. One of them, like mid race, just really had to go, and he just ended up peeing his pants in this car. I think it might have been Vettel. I can't remember.
Wow.
Love that. The balls in these guys to pee in their seat. You know what kind of balls you have to do that?
They're literally peeing in like a $40 million like rocket ship. Like
That's crazy.
Just rocket piss.
But you want to know how much weight?
dude, I'm going like 500 miles an hour. Let me just rip a piss right now.
The average weight of a driver they lose is 10 pounds a race.
Sweat, right?
Yeah,
And it's like times 20, twice that weight when they do Singapore because it's so close to the equator. And even racing at night, I think like the track heat is somewhere like 45 degrees.
You want to hear?
Celsius, so I think it was like, what would that be in Fahrenheit?
How much does a first baseman in baseball lose a weight? Does he lose a game?
They probably gained 5 pounds. They're like eating hot dogs between innings and all that
Fuck
shit.
you. Baseball's America's pastime.
Yeah, and meanwhile they're fat as fuck, like Pablo Sandoval.
Kung Fu Panda.
Could we forget about Prince Fielder? Like,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Prince Fielder, man. Oh, that was funny. He could hit, but he was a fat motherfucker.
I'm gonna
Marcelo Colon. That guy was like a sumo wrestler.
And then you guys have guys, and then you guys have guys. You have guys like Shohei Ohtani who like beat like an infield like to the base like on a single hit. Like
He's
he literally
insane.
shot it to the base. He's nuts. That guy's a unit.
That's a real
Ohtani's
athlete
one of
right
maybe
there.
the best prospects, or not even a prospect, but one of the best players I've seen come out, like in a long time. Like I just remember Ichiro. He was such a generational talent, and I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, but Jeter, Ichiro, and then Ohtani is like one of those special generational guys.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna end the Formula One conversation with this. I saw a picture where Leclerc allows Hamilton to take the outside, and he's on the inside, and gives him the space. And then the opposite happened where Vettel was on the outside, and Hamilton on the inside, and gave him no space, and just literally took him to the corner. Like there was pictures. Now, I also saw somebody was showing how they both were at fault, where one should have held up, one was trying to take the other. At the end of the day, I think it was all fix for Hamilton. I will say that. I know people are going to think I'm fucking crazy. It was fix with England losing last weekend, and then with the whole racial matter of what happened with the three players. And Lewis Hamilton supports Black Lives Matter, which I support him on that. I respect him fully for that. Will never go against him. And then he had Tom Cruise on his side. It was all happening, man. Scientology helped him yesterday. The moons and the sun and the stars all aligned. And you know what? Nando brought this to me. I'm gonna give him a shout because it's not my idea. It's Nando's. And he brought it to me, and I agree with him. I think everything aligns, and I know Jan's not going to approve, but I just and it made me sick to my stomach because I'm trying to love the sport. When you see that and you want to see a new winner for the right reasons, and they're destroying it, it kills the sport. But you know what? We're gonna end the pod like this: fuck Juve, fuck Roma, especially fuck Roma.
Lazio merda, Jerry.
You can kiss my right ass. Inter, I have no issues. I have no issues with Inter because it's Simone Inzaghi and because my co-host. Manny.
I didn't even get to talk about Napoli, so shut the fuck up.
Well, because you don't know anything about your team yet, so one day you'll learn.
I do a little bit.
I don't. An 11th place finish, I think. 11th place.
I don't hate Napoli because Ciro Immobile is Napolitan, so that is saving grace. And Milan is. Whatever, fuck them. Anyways,
wow. All right, well, I want to give everybody. I want to give everybody a chance to promote your social media, anything you're working on, and I'll let Manny go first. And Manny, before you let people know where they can find you, give us your prediction on Napoli this coming season.
They can find him at www.gofuckyourself.com.
I'm so follow that. Listen, the only thing about Napoli, I will say is this: you start out with Venezia, Genoa, Juventus, Udinese. I think it's going to be crucial, at least for the month of August and September, you get off to a great start, because then when you look down at their schedule, you're going to have Roma, Inter, Lazio, Atalanta, and Milan, and they span in about 5 to 7 weeks overall. So they have to make sure that they get out to a rough start. Besides that, I think the goal is going to be, make Champions League. I think the change that you make at the head coach at the top, with not many changes going forward, you signed the guy you wanted to, which is Di Lorenzo. He re-signed the one guy who has not yet have a new contract. That's Insigne. It expires next season. So, I mean, listen, I don't. It's kind of what I've seen a lot on Twitter from a lot of Napoli fans. It seems like the club seems to fit as to say, we have the club to make a top four. If we're going to sign somebody, it's going to be for the right price or for the right reason. I just feel like when you look at their forward situation going on right now, you only have Insigne healthy, Osimhen healthy. You have Mertens, who's out because of your Euro injury, and then obviously Chucky Lozano, who had a bad collision with Mexico. I believe it was against Trinidad and Tobago or some sort. So you're kind of short up top right now. So maybe they go after maybe another guy up front. But I feel like with Ospina in the back, you sign Di Lorenzo still. Koulibaly is okay, I guess, in a sense, when he doesn't over pursue things. I mean, there's always room for improvement, right? I guess the only team in this entire league, unfortunately, that can just sign somebody if they needed to, and let's be honest here, it's Juventus, right? Because they could, if they need somebody at a key position of an injury, you probably will put in the money in the bank saying they'll find somebody. With everybody else here, it's like for the right price, right? Because it's so funny how, Alex, you guys just won the Scudetto, and for you to tell me that you don't have some type of extra funds or money to find another key piece on your squad, yeah. Dude, was your team in debt? I understand, right? Yes. No fan base, that kills a lot of momentum, no money coming in. But Jesus Christ, you guys just won a major trophy, and for you to say we can't afford a player to build up on our depth, man, that kind of hurts. Juventus doesn't say those type of things because they have the power behind them to say, hey, whatever you got to do, here it is, there it goes. Everybody else here has to scramble. They got to say, okay, well, maybe we can do this. And it's right. It's all about the power up top. So besides Juventus, I think everybody else always is looking for the right price for the right money and to see if it fits them. But I think sometimes you have to take a gamble. But I don't know which team here is going to take that gamble. That's not Juventus. So, but yeah, for me, Napoli is they have to finish top four, I think, in order to make, I guess, this season a success, because being 1 point out and you tying in the last game, I don't think that sit well with a lot of the fans per se.
Well said. Hey, where can people find you, man? Everything you got going on.
You can find me right there on my Twitter at MannyC17_. I talk everything soccer. I love hockey as well. I do a lot of things for 5 Reasons Sports Miami. We're actually, Alex and whatnot, we're going to start a show, I believe, in a couple of weeks or so. It's called Donno Daily. That's going to be something huge for a lot of us here who live in Miami. The Miami sports scene is dying, but not on YouTube, not the way that we're going to do it. So a lot of things are happening there. So make sure to tune in. And of course, just at Alex and ask him where all his other stuff is at, because it's going to be a great time. Football season's almost here. Hockey season's around the corner, and fuck the Bucks.
Don't talk about Brady like that. How dare you? Or you mean the Milwaukee Bucks? All right. So, Mass, how about you, my friend? Where can people find you?
They can find me at Mass148 for all daily shit posts about Gary Neville and how the England team still has yet to win a trophy. Hopefully, Roma makes top 6. Anything's an improvement from last year. Top 4 would be the perfect thing, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully a striker signing that's not Icardi or Belotti. I don't think they're the answers, and we offload all the dead wood. So that's all I'm expecting for this season, and that's it. So Twitter at Mass148.
So quick question. What is all this hate on Belotti?
I don't like, not that I don't like him. He's not a bad player. I just don't think he fits the system. Okay. I don't think he can, he's not the answer that we're looking for. We were linked with Moise Kean a while back, and I don't know what happened there. Yeah. Now he's at PSG and increasing his price tag, putting in goals every other day in Champions League and whatever competitions they're in. So we missed the boat on that one. Maybe if Raspadori has a good season, maybe we could go after him at Sassuolo. He's young. I don't think it would be a bad move. It'd be financially responsible instead of spending stupid money on someone that won't show any returns. Definitely not Icardi. I don't want that Wanda Icardi circus anywhere near our Roma right now.
You definitely don't. Although
No.
I would enjoy seeing it at a different Serie A club, but no, you don't want that smoke. Hey, Cliff,
I've aged way too much. I don't need a Wanda Icardi circus there at Roma right now.
you'll be 70 in like 3 seasons with Icardi for sure. Cliff, thank you so much for joining us for the first time. Hopefully it won't be the last. We tend to scare away Juventini for reasons I cannot explain. I'm hoping it's just a bad coincidence. So we thank you so much, sir. Where can people find you?
So first of all, thank you guys so much again for having me. It was an absolute pleasure. And I will definitely, if I'm fortunate enough to be invited back, I would be happy to come back on. You guys can find me at Cliff_Esmiel on Twitter and on Instagram. And for my Twitch, you can find me at Cliff Easy. That's with 2 E's and 2 Z's. Yeah. And I also do a daily space with one of my buddies, Art Morelli.
I love Art.
We just started to do them. We're gonna make it the Cazzo and Cazzo show, and we're just gonna talk a bunch of stuff, soccer and calcio, and just a bunch of fun random stuff. So hope you guys will tune in.
I love that. Art is a great dude as well. You guys do a great job with that. Hey, Gianluca, and I always know whenever I see it pitch black behind Gianluca, I know it's time to sign off. Where can people find you, sir?
Awesome. Thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it. You can find me at glombardi85 on Twitter, and I believe Instagram's the same one. All about Milan stuff. Hopefully we can sign some of these rumors coming along, like Kyle George or Coutinho or every other player that we're linked to. So hopefully we can sign someone. Yeah, we'll be in the top 4 this season. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Jerry? You're always writing a lot, keeping active. I enjoy your work, sir. Where can people find you outside of this great platform, of course, here?
Basically the Laziale.com, Laziale freaking World Football Index, I guess. That's about it. Just Laziale actually I've been writing for. Yeah. Pod, Calcio Connection, and J Mancini 8.
Nice, yeah, and I think for my promos, Manny already did some of the dirty work for me. Yes, we're going to be doing daily streaming shows on 5 Reasons Sports pretty soon. July 29th, which is a Thursday, is when we're going to debut the first daily episode of that. Of course, you can find everything that we do here on the Calcio Connection Network. We stream on YouTube once or twice a week here. We've actually recently, as we talked about, we've added Twitch. If anyone, by the way, on Twitter, let me know if you actually watched us on Twitch, because I literally created the account like 3 hours before we went live. So there may literally be 0 people watching us on Twitch. I know there's people watching on YouTube because I can see the numbers there. Twitch, I have no idea. So let us know if you watched us on Twitch. If you're into that, you can watch us there in the future, because we're starting to use that platform as well. But yeah, our YouTube channel, make sure you follow it at Calcio Connection. Make sure you follow our Twitter handle at CalcioConPod. And for those of you who don't watch the videos, maybe you listen back to the audio version, which we post the next day. You can get that on all the major podcasting platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. Just search Calcio Connection. And while you're there, if you enjoyed the show, leave us a 5. Even if you didn't enjoy it, leave us a 5-star rating. Be nice. I mean, we're human beings. Leave us a 5-star rating and a nice review if you have a few seconds to do that. We really, really appreciate it. So make sure you follow us at CalcioConPod on Twitter. And huge thanks to everyone. Again, shout outs to Cliff, to Mass, for Manny, to Gianluca, and of course, Jerry, for bringing great stuff as always. We will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.